Imagine a world where your mind is free from the constant chatter of negative thoughts, a place where worries, self-doubt, and fears no longer hold you back. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it's not. In fact, you already have the power to create this reality for yourself. The secret lies in understanding how your mind works and learning simple techniques to remove negative thoughts. This isn't about forcing positivity or pretending everything's perfect. It's about discovering a way to live that's more peaceful, more joyful, and more in tune with your true self. You might be thinking, sure, that sounds great, but my negative thoughts are just part of who I am. Many people believe this, but it's not true. These thoughts aren't you. They're just habits your mind has picked up over time. And just like any habit, they can be changed. The best part? You don't need any special skills or knowledge to do it. All you need is the willingness to try something new and the patience to practice. But here's the thing. If you don't learn how to handle these negative thoughts, they can really mess up your life. They're like weeds in a garden. If you ignore them, they'll keep growing and eventually take over, choking out all the beautiful flowers you want to grow. Negative thoughts can affect your mood, your relationships, your work, and even your health. They can hold you back from pursuing your dreams and living the life you really want. On the flip side, when you learn to manage your thoughts, amazing things start to happen. You'll feel more confident and capable. You'll handle stress better. Your relationships will improve because you'll be more present and positive. You might even find that opportunities you never noticed before start showing up in your life. It's not magic. It's just what happens when you're not constantly dragging yourself down with negative thinking. Before we dive into the techniques for removing negative thoughts, it's important to understand a bit about how your mind works. Think of your mind like a big, powerful computer. It's always running, processing information, and creating thoughts. Some of these thoughts are helpful, like reminders to pick up groceries or ideas for solving problems at work. But some thoughts aren't so helpful. These are the negative thoughts we're talking about. These negative thoughts come from different places. Some might be things you heard growing up that you've internalized. Others might be fears or worries about the future. And some might just be old habits, ways of thinking you've gotten used to over time. The important thing to remember is that these thoughts aren't facts. They're just thoughts, and you have the power to change them. Your mind is also like a magnifying glass. Whatever you focus on tends to get bigger and seem more important. So if you're constantly focusing on negative thoughts, they'll start to seem like a huge, overwhelming part of your life. But if you learn to shift your focus, those negative thoughts will start to shrink and lose their power over you. Another important thing to understand is that your thoughts, feelings, and actions are all connected. Your thoughts influence how you feel, and your feelings influence how you act. So if you're thinking negative thoughts all the time, you'll probably feel bad a lot of the time, and that might lead you to do things that aren't good for you or that don't help you reach your goals. But here's the good news. This connection works both ways. By changing your thoughts, you can change how you feel and how you act. And by changing your actions, you can actually start to change your thoughts and feelings too. It's all interconnected, which means you have multiple ways to make positive changes in your life. Now that we understand a bit about how our minds work, Let's dive into some practical techniques you can use to remove negative thoughts. We're going to cover 5 different methods. These aren't complicated or hard to do, but they do take practice. Remember, you're trying to change habits that you might have had for a long time, so be patient with yourself. The first and most important technique is simply becoming aware of your thoughts. This might sound too simple to be effective, but it's actually incredibly powerful. Most of the time, we're not really paying attention to what's going on in our minds. Thoughts come and go, and we react to them without even realizing it. To practice awareness, try to catch yourself when you're having a negative thought. Don't try to change it or push it away. Just notice it. You might say to yourself, "Oh, I'm having a negative thought right now." This simple act of noticing creates a little bit of space between you and the thought. It helps you see that you are not your thoughts. You're the one observing them. You can practice this technique anytime, anywhere. When you're washing dishes, driving to work, or lying in bed at night, take a moment to tune into your thoughts. What's going on in your mind? Are you worrying about something? Criticizing yourself? Planning for the worst? Just notice these thoughts without judgment. As you practice this, you might be surprised at how many negative thoughts you have. Don't let this discourage you. It's totally normal, and noticing is the first step to changing. In fact, the more you notice your negative thoughts, the more power you have to choose different thoughts instead. You might find it helpful to keep a thought journal. Whenever you notice a negative thought, write it down. This can help you start to see patterns in your thinking. Maybe you'll notice that you have more negative thoughts when you're tired, or that certain situations tend to trigger negative thinking. This knowledge can be really valuable as you work on changing your thought patterns. Remember, the goal isn't to never have a negative thought again. That's not realistic or even desirable. Negative thoughts can sometimes be helpful, alerting us to potential problems or areas where we need to make changes. The goal is to be aware of our thoughts so we can choose which ones to focus on and which ones to let go. The second technique we're going to talk about is breathing. Now you might be thinking, breathing? I do that all the time. How is that going to help with negative thoughts? But here's the thing. Conscious, deliberate breathing is different from the automatic breathing we do all day. It's a powerful tool for calming your mind and body, which can help you let go of negative thoughts. When you notice a negative thought, take a moment to focus on your breath. Try this simple exercise. Breathe in slowly for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, then breathe out for a count of 4. Do this a few times, really focusing on the sensation of the air moving in and out of your body. Why does this work? Well, when we're stressed or caught up in negative thinking, our breathing often becomes shallow and rapid. This triggers our body's stress response, making us feel even more anxious and negative. By deliberately slowing and deepening our breath, we send a signal to our body that everything is okay. This helps to calm our nervous system, making it easier to let go of negative thoughts. You can use this breathing technique anytime you notice yourself getting caught up in negative thinking. It's especially helpful in stressful situations. Maybe you're about to give a presentation at work and you're thinking, I'm going to mess this up. Instead of letting that thought spiral, take a moment to focus on your breath. As you breathe slowly and deeply, you might find that the negative thought starts to lose its grip. Another great thing about this technique is that you can do it anywhere, anytime, without anyone even noticing. You don't need any special equipment or a quiet room. You can do it while you're sitting in a meeting, standing in line at the grocery store, or lying in bed at night. As you practice this breathing technique, you might find it helpful to pair it with a positive phrase or affirmation. For example, as you breathe in, you might think, "I am calm," and as you breathe out, "I let go of worry." This combines the physical calming effect of the breath with the mental shift of positive self-talk. Remember, like any skill, this takes practice. At first it might feel a bit awkward, or you might forget to do it. That's okay. The more you practice, the more natural it will become. Over time, you might find that you automatically start to breathe more slowly and deeply when you're feeling stressed or negative without even having to think about it. The third technique we're going to explore is called reframing. This is all about looking at situations from a different perspective. Often, our negative thoughts come from how we interpret events in our lives. But here's the thing. There's usually more than one way to look at any situation. Reframing doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect or ignoring real problems. It's about finding a more balanced, helpful way of thinking about things. Let's say you make a mistake at work. Your first thought might be, "I'm so stupid. I always mess things up." That's a pretty negative frame, right? But what if you reframed it like this? Everyone makes mistakes sometimes. This is a chance for me to learn and do better next time. See how that changes things? The situation itself hasn't changed, but how you're thinking about it has. And that can make a big difference in how you feel and how you handle the situation. Here's another example. Maybe you're trying to learn a new skill like playing the guitar and you're finding it really difficult. The negative thought might be, "I'm no good at this. I should just give up." But what if you reframed it as, "Learning new things takes time. The fact that this is challenging means I'm pushing myself and growing." Reframing takes practice. At first, it might feel like you're just saying nice things to yourself without really believing them. That's okay. The more you practice, the more natural it will become. And over time, you might find that you start to automatically look for more positive ways of interpreting situations. One way to practice reframing is to challenge your negative thoughts. When you notice a negative thought, ask yourself, "Is this thought really true? Am I looking at the whole picture or just focusing on one small part? How would I look at this if it was happening to a friend instead of me? What's another way I could think about this situation?" These questions can help you start to see things from different angles. You might be surprised at how many new perspectives you can find when you start looking for them. Another helpful tip is to watch out for always and never statements. Thoughts like, "I always mess up," or "I'll never be good enough," are rarely true and can be really damaging. When you catch yourself thinking in these absolute terms, that's a good cue to step back and try to reframe the situation in a more balanced way. Reframing can be especially powerful when you're dealing with challenges or setbacks. Instead of seeing these as failures or proof that you're not good enough, try to see them as opportunities for growth. Every challenge you face is teaching you something and making you stronger. Remember, reframing isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about finding a more balanced, helpful way of looking at things. Sometimes you might reframe a situation and realize that there really is a problem that needs to be addressed. That's okay too. The goal is to approach the situation with a clearer, calmer mindset, which will help you deal with it more effectively. As you practice reframing, you might find it helpful to write down your reframed thoughts. This can help reinforce the new, more positive way of thinking. Over time, you'll build up a collection of more helpful thought patterns that you can draw on when you need them. Reframing is a powerful tool, but it's important to use it in a way that feels authentic to you. Don't force yourself to think overly positive thoughts if they don't feel true. The goal is to find a perspective that is both more positive and realistic. It might take some experimenting to find reframes that really resonate with you, but keep at it. With practice, you'll get better at finding new, more helpful ways of looking at situations. Gratitude is a powerful tool in the fight against negative thoughts. It's like a reset button for your mind, shifting your focus from what's wrong to what's right in your life. When you're caught up in negative thinking, it's easy to lose sight of all the good things around you. Practicing gratitude helps bring those good things back into focus. Here's how it works. When you notice a negative thought creeping in, take a moment to think of something you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be anything big or impressive. Maybe you're grateful for the warm cup of coffee you had this morning, or the smile from a stranger on the street, or the fact that you have a roof over your head. The important thing is to really feel the gratitude, not just think about it. At first, this might feel a bit forced or artificial. That's okay. Like any new habit, it takes time to feel natural. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. You might even find yourself automatically looking for things to be grateful for throughout your day. One way to make gratitude a regular part of your life is to keep a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They can be big things, like your health or your relationships, or small things, like a delicious meal or a beautiful sunset. The act of writing them down helps cement them in your mind and makes the feeling of gratitude more concrete. Another technique is to do a gratitude scan of your body. Start at your toes and work your way up, thinking of something you're grateful for about each part of your body. Maybe you're grateful for your feet that carry you through the day, or your hands that allow you to create and connect with others. This can be especially powerful if you often have negative thoughts about your body. Gratitude can also be a great way to shift your perspective when you're facing challenges. For example, if you're stuck in traffic and feeling frustrated, you might think about how grateful you are to have a car, or for the extra time to listen to your favorite podcast. This doesn't mean you have to be happy about being stuck in traffic, but it can help take the edge off your frustration. Remember, the goal of gratitude isn't to ignore problems or pretend everything is perfect. It's about balancing our natural tendency to focus on the negative by intentionally noticing and appreciating the positive. Even in difficult times, there are usually things to be grateful for if we look for them. As you practice gratitude, you might notice that it becomes easier to find things to appreciate. You might start noticing small joys and blessings that you used to overlook. This can create a positive cycle. The more grateful you feel, the more things you find to be grateful for. Gratitude can be especially powerful when you're feeling down about yourself. Take a moment to think about the qualities you appreciate about yourself, or the things you've accomplished that you're proud of. This can help counteract negative self-talk and boost your self-esteem. You can also use gratitude to strengthen your relationships. Take time to let others know what you appreciate about them. Not only does this spread positivity to others, but it also helps you focus on the good qualities of the people in your life. Remember, gratitude is not about comparing yourself to others or feeling guilty for what you have. It's simply about recognizing and appreciating the good things in your life, whatever they may be. With practice, gratitude can become a powerful tool for shifting your mindset and reducing negative thoughts. The fifth technique we're going to explore is the practice of letting go. This might be the most challenging technique, but it's also one of the most powerful. Letting go is about learning to release negative thoughts instead of getting caught up in them or trying to fight them. Often, when we have negative thoughts, our first instinct is to try to push them away or argue with them. But here's the thing: what we resist persists. The more we try to force negative thoughts out of our minds, the more they seem to stick around. Letting go is a different approach. It's about acknowledging the thought and then choosing not to engage with it. One way to practice letting go is to imagine your thoughts are like clouds in the sky. They come and they go. You don't need to do anything about them. You can just watch them float by. When a negative thought comes up, imagine it's a cloud. See it, acknowledge it, and then watch it drift away. Another helpful metaphor is to imagine your thoughts are like leaves floating down a stream. You're sitting on the bank, watching them go by. You don't need to jump in and grab them or try to stop them. Just observe them as they float past. This practice of observing without engaging can create a sense of distance between you and your thoughts. It helps you realize that you are not your thoughts. You're the observer of your thoughts. This realization can be incredibly freeing. Letting go doesn't mean you'll never have negative thoughts. It's about changing your relationship with those thoughts. Instead of getting caught up in them or believing them automatically, you learn to see them for what they are, just thoughts. They're not facts, they're not commands, and they don't define you. One practical way to practice letting go is through a simple meditation exercise. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Focus on your breath. When a thought comes up, and thoughts will come up, simply notice it. You might even label it in your mind. Thinking. Then, without judgment, return your focus to your breath. Do this for a few minutes each day, gradually increasing the time as you get more comfortable with the practice. It's important to approach this practice with patience and self-compassion. Letting go is a skill, and like any skill, it takes time to develop. You might find that some thoughts are easier to let go of than others. That's okay. The goal isn't to never have negative thoughts, but to learn to hold them more lightly. Letting go can be particularly helpful when dealing with worries about the future or regrets about the past. Often, these thoughts are about things we can't control or change. By practicing letting go, we can learn to focus more on the present moment, where we have the power to act and make choices. Remember, letting go isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about learning not to get caught up in every thought that passes through your mind. It's about choosing which thoughts to engage with and which ones to let float by. As you practice letting go, you might find that certain negative thoughts keep coming back. That's normal. Instead of getting frustrated, see if you can approach these persistent thoughts with curiosity. What are they trying to tell you? Is there a need or a fear underneath them that needs to be addressed? Sometimes, by acknowledging the underlying emotion, we can more easily let go of the repetitive thoughts. Letting go can also be applied to situations and events in your life. Maybe you're holding on to resentment about something that happened in the past, or anxiety about an upcoming event. See if you can practice letting go of your grip on these situations. This doesn't mean you stop caring or preparing, but that you release the emotional charge and the need to control every aspect. With practice, letting go can become a powerful tool for maintaining mental peace. You might find that you're less easily upset by small annoyances, less likely to get caught in cycles of worry or rumination, and more able to stay present and engaged in your life. Now that we've explored these 5 techniques, awareness, breathing, reframing, gratitude, and letting go, it's time to talk about how to use them in your daily life. Think of these techniques as tools in your mental health toolkit. Just like a physical toolkit, you'll use different tools for different situations. The first step is to start incorporating these techniques into your daily routine. You might begin your day with a few minutes of mindful breathing, followed by writing in your gratitude journal. Throughout the day, practice awareness by checking in with your thoughts periodically. When you notice negative thoughts, try reframing them or practicing letting go. Remember, the goal isn't to use all of these techniques all the time. It's about finding what works best for you in different situations. You might find that breathing exercises are particularly helpful when you're feeling stressed, while reframing works well for challenging negative self-talk. Experiment and see what feels most effective for you. It's also important to be patient with yourself as you're learning these techniques. Changing thought patterns takes time. You're essentially rewiring your brain, creating new neural pathways. This doesn't happen overnight. There will be days when negative thoughts seem to take over, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're failing or that the techniques don't work. It just means you're human. One helpful approach is to start small. Don't try to tackle your biggest, most persistent negative thoughts right away. Start with smaller, less emotionally charged thoughts. As you build confidence and skill, you can apply these techniques to more challenging situations. You might find it helpful to create reminders for yourself to practice these techniques. You could set alarms on your phone, put sticky notes in places you'll see them, or use a habit tracking app. The key is to make these practices a regular part of your day, not just something you do when you're feeling particularly negative. It can also be beneficial to share what you're learning with others. Talk to friends or family about these techniques. You might even find a buddy who wants to practice with you. Sharing your experiences can help reinforce your learning and provide support and accountability. As you practice, you'll likely find that these techniques start to become more automatic. You might catch yourself naturally reframing a negative thought or taking a deep breath when you're feeling stressed. This is a sign that you're internalizing these new patterns of thinking. Remember, removing negative thoughts isn't about achieving a state of constant positivity. It's about creating a more balanced, realistic way of thinking. It's about developing resilience and the ability to navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease. You might also find that as you work on your thoughts, other areas of your life start to change. You might feel more motivated to take care of your physical health, to pursue goals you've been putting off, or to improve your relationships. This is because our thoughts, feelings, and actions are all interconnected. As you change one area, it often has a ripple effect on others. It's important to note that while these techniques can be incredibly powerful, they're not a substitute for professional help if you're dealing with severe negative thoughts or mental health issues. If you find that negative thoughts are significantly impacting your daily life, or if you're dealing with symptoms of anxiety or depression, it's important to reach out to a mental health professional. As you continue on this journey of managing your thoughts, remember to celebrate your progress. Notice the small victories, the moments when you successfully reframe a negative thought, or when you're able to let go of something that would have bothered you in the past. These small wins add up over time and can lead to significant changes in your overall well-being. Ultimately, learning to remove negative thoughts is about more than just feeling better in the moment. It's about creating a more positive, resilient mindset that can help you navigate life's challenges and fully appreciate its joys. It's about becoming more aware of your inner world and learning to shape it in ways that support your well-being and growth. Remember, you have the power to change your thoughts and, in doing so, to change your life. It takes practice and patience, but with time and effort, you can create a mental environment that supports your happiness and success. So keep practicing, stay patient with yourself, and watch as your mind becomes a more positive, peaceful place to be. One of the most effective ways to combat negative thoughts is through positive self-talk. This isn't about denying reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about speaking to yourself with kindness and encouragement, just as you would to a good friend. Often, we're our own harshest critics. We say things to ourselves that we'd never dream of saying to someone else. You're so stupid. You'll never succeed. Nobody likes you. These negative messages can become so habitual that we don't even notice them anymore. But they have a real impact on our mood, our confidence, and our actions. Positive self-talk is about consciously changing this inner dialogue. When you catch yourself thinking something negative, try to rephrase it in a more positive, supportive way. For example, instead of, "I'm so bad at this," try, "I'm still learning and improving." Instead of, "This will never work," try, "I'll find a way to make this work." It's important to make your positive self-talk realistic and specific. Vague affirmations like "I'm the best" might not feel authentic and could be hard to believe. Instead, focus on specific, achievable things. "I'm working hard and making progress," or "I have the skills to handle this challenge." One way to practice positive self-talk is to create a list of personal affirmations. These are positive statements about yourself that you can repeat when you need a boost. They might be things like, "I am capable of handling whatever comes my way," or "I am worthy of love and respect." Choose affirmations that resonate with you and address your particular insecurities or challenges. Remember, the goal of positive self-talk isn't to eliminate all negative thoughts. It's to create a more balanced, supportive inner dialogue. It's okay to acknowledge when things are difficult or when you're feeling down. The key is to do so in a way that's constructive rather than self-defeating. As you practice positive self-talk, pay attention to how it makes you feel. You might notice that you feel more confident, more motivated, or more resilient in the face of challenges. This positive feeling can create a virtuous cycle, making it easier to maintain positive self-talk in the future. Our thoughts don't exist in a vacuum. They're influenced by our surroundings, the people we interact with, and the information we consume. Creating a positive environment can be a powerful way to support more positive thinking. Start by looking at your physical space. Is it cluttered and chaotic, or organized and peaceful? While it's not always possible to control every aspect of our environment, even small changes can make a big difference. Maybe it's clearing off your desk, adding some plants to your space, or creating a cozy corner for relaxation. Next, consider the people you spend time with. Are they supportive and positive, or do they tend to bring you down? While we can't always choose who we interact with, we can often choose how much time we spend with different people. Try to surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. The media we consume also has a big impact on our thoughts. If you're constantly scrolling through negative news or engaging in heated social media debates, it's likely to affect your mood and thought patterns. Consider limiting your exposure to negative media and seeking out positive, inspiring content instead. Another aspect of creating a positive environment is establishing routines and habits that support your well-being. This might include regular exercise, a consistent sleep schedule, or time for hobbies and activities you enjoy. When we take care of our physical and emotional needs, it's easier to maintain a positive mindset. Remember, creating a positive environment isn't about avoiding all negativity. It's about creating a balanced space that supports your well-being and growth. It's okay to face challenges and engage with difficult topics. The key is to do so from a place of strength and positivity. Mindfulness and meditation are powerful tools for managing negative thoughts. These practices help us become more aware of our thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. Mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's a skill that can be practiced throughout the day, in any situation. When you're eating, really focus on the taste and texture of your food. When you're walking, pay attention to the sensation of your feet touching the ground. This present moment awareness can help break the cycle of negative thinking. Meditation is a more formal practice of mindfulness. It often involves sitting quietly and focusing on your breath or a specific object. When thoughts come up, and they will, you simply notice them and gently return your attention to your focus point. There are many different types of meditation, so it's worth exploring to find what works best for you. Some people prefer guided meditations, where a teacher talks you through the process. Others prefer silent meditation. Some find it helpful to use apps or videos, while others prefer to practice on their own. The benefits of mindfulness and meditation are well documented. Regular practice can reduce stress, improve focus, and increase emotional regulation. When it comes to negative thoughts, these practices can help you observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them. Over time, you may find that negative thoughts have less power over you. Starting a meditation practice doesn't have to be complicated. Even just a few minutes a day can make a difference. You might start with a simple breathing meditation. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath for 5 minutes. When your mind wanders, which it will, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Remember, the goal of meditation isn't to stop thinking or to only have positive thoughts. It's about changing your relationship with your thoughts. With practice, you may find that you're less reactive to negative thoughts and better able to choose which thoughts to engage with. While the techniques we've discussed can be incredibly helpful for managing negative thoughts, sometimes we need additional support. If you're finding that negative thoughts are significantly impacting your daily life, or if you're dealing with symptoms of anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues, it's important to seek professional help. A mental health professional, such as a therapist or counselor, can provide personalized strategies for managing negative thoughts. They can help you identify patterns in your thinking, work through underlying issues, and develop coping skills tailored to your specific needs. There are many different types of therapy available. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is particularly effective for dealing with negative thought patterns. It focuses on identifying and changing unhelpful thoughts and behaviors. Other approaches, like mindfulness-based therapies or psychodynamic therapy, might be more appropriate depending on your specific situation. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Just as you would see a doctor for a physical health concern, it's important to seek professional help for mental health concerns. Many people find that a combination of self-help techniques and professional support is most effective for managing negative thoughts and improving overall mental health. Don't hesitate to reach out if you're struggling. There are many resources available, including crisis hotlines, online therapy platforms, and community mental health centers. Your primary care doctor can also be a good starting point for getting a referral to a mental health professional. Managing negative thoughts is a journey, not a destination. It's about developing skills and habits that allow you to navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease and resilience. The techniques we've explored, from awareness and breathing to gratitude and positive self-talk, are tools you can use throughout your life. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all negative thoughts. Some degree of negative thinking is normal and can even be helpful at times. The aim is to create a more balanced mental landscape where negative thoughts don't dominate or control your life. As you practice these techniques, be patient and kind with yourself. Change takes time, and there will be ups and downs along the way. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it might seem. Every time you catch a negative thought and choose to respond differently, you're rewiring your brain and building new, more positive habits. Remember, too, that managing negative thoughts is just one part of overall mental health and well-being. It's important to take care of yourself in other ways, too. Getting enough sleep, eating well, exercising, and maintaining meaningful connections with others. Finally, don't hesitate to seek additional support if you need it. Whether that's talking to a trusted friend, joining a support group, or seeing a mental health professional, reaching out for help is a sign of strength and self-care. You have the power to shape your thoughts, and in doing so, to shape your life. With practice, patience, and persistence, you can create a more positive, peaceful, and fulfilling inner world. Here's to your journey towards more positive thinking and greater well-being.